This is David Pace with East Idaho News. I'm here with Idaho Democratic Chair Lauren Necochea, who is meeting us from the floor of the Democratic National Convention Wednesday in Chicago. Lauren, give us a report on the Democratic National Convention and what's going on so far.
It is just absolutely electric in this arena, as it has been for the last couple of days. I think the deep bench of Democratic leaders is on display as we hear compelling, powerful speech after compelling, powerful speech, and everyone is just excited for this next step in the process.
Excellent. What business has been conducted and what has been accomplished so far at the DNC?
Well, we had reports from, platform committees, credentialing, all of that party business. But the big fun thing was we did our ceremonial roll call and celebrated that Kamala Harris is our nominee. And then, of course, she'll have her acceptance speech Thursday night.
Excellent. Tell us about why you support Kamala Harris for President of the United States.
She is offering a vision that will take our country forward and that will tackle the problems and issues that families face, whether it's price gouging from corporations or childcare that's too expensive, prescription drugs that are too expensive, and really focus on the challenges facing our families. And that's why people are so hopeful. Hope is the way we get things done and we enact solutions. When it's all doom and gloom, no one's making any positive change. Everyone's just in fear. And so the hope and unity and joy that we're seeing and to sweep the nation with this nomination is exciting, and it's going to be good news for the country once Harris is elected.
Why do you think Idahoans should vote for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz?
Well, we need our reproductive freedom act in Idaho. Women being airlifted out of state for emergency pregnancy complications is unacceptable. If we can elect Vice President Harris to the White House and get Democratic control, we can pass a national law that would restore those reproductive freedoms. So and get us out from under the thumb of Idaho's extreme abortion ban that's harming people. But that's not it. It also comes down to just defeating everything that's in Project 2025, protecting the Affordable Care Act that Republicans want to appeal, that has given health coverage to so many Idahoans, whether it's through Medicaid or a tax credit that helps them purchase coverage, or the young Idahoans up through age 26 who can now access health coverage through their parents' plan, or the fact that we have so many Idahoans with pre-existing conditions who used to be denied coverage before the Affordable Care Act was passed. We have so much to protect. Head Start is, early childhood education, child care systems. There are so many things that are under attack in Project 2025, and that would move Idaho back in terms of our prosperity and the prosperity of our families.
Excellent. What do you believe that these candidates offer that former President Donald Trump and Vice Presidential Republican candidate J.D. Vance do not?
Yeah, well, in addition to wanting to protect our reproductive freedoms and make healthcare more affordable, they're looking at they want to preserve the Department of Education, which is on the chopping block in Project 2025. That means a lot of resources that are special, our kids with special needs access. There's just so much on the chopping block in Project 2025 that hurts kids and families the most, and we want to stop that, and we want to see how we can solve new problems. The Biden-Harris administration has just announced so much project in lowering prescription drug prices for seniors through Medicare. We need to look at those policies for every American, but it's going to take Democratic leadership. It's going to take Democrats who want to stand up to corporations and say, okay, what's fair? We can't just shrug and say, the free market means insulin costs $1,000 a month. We need to have some fair rules, make corporations play by fair rules. They can still earn a profit and be successful, but we can't put our fellow Idahoans' health in jeopardy when it's not necessary for pharma to produce the medicines that people need to live their lives.
What stood out to you so far from the speeches on the convention floor?
It was very inspiring. I mean, it was very inspiring to hear all of the speeches, but Michelle Obama's call to action last night was particularly inspiring. She left us with a couple important words of do something. And that's what voters all across Idaho need to get engaged, educated about the issues. And if you want to see change in Idaho, you can go out and volunteer with candidates, knock on doors, make phone calls. And there's a lot at stake in our Idaho elections as well. The Launch Scholarship Program that's so popular, that's giving Idaho's graduating seniors a chance to pursue welding, a nursing degree, or another in-demand career. That's going to be on the chopping block if we don't hold and pick up Democratic seats. We passed that legislation by a single vote. Every Democrat voted for it. A majority of Republicans voted against it. So if we don't win enough Democratic seats in November, we could lose that huge progress we've made towards giving the next generation a chance to succeed and giving businesses in Idaho the skilled workforce that they desperately need to make their products and be successful.
What is your message to Idahoans in the middle of the political spectrum who are unsure about whether to vote for Kamala Harris or Donald Trump?
Well, we've talked a lot about policy. It also comes down to democracy. Trump has said he's going to be a dictator on day one. He's a convicted felon with no respect for the law. He instigated an insurrection when he lost his last election that resulted in violence and death, and he refused for hours to call off the rioters taking over the Capitol. So it really, and then he's told lie after lie about the integrity of our election, and then targeted good, hardworking election workers and set them up for harassment by the people who follow him. So this is about democracy. We can disagree on policy, and in 4 years we'll have a different conversation about that. But as a lot of prominent Republicans who are coming out to support Kamala Harris, we've heard from many of them this week. They're saying, we can survive policies we're not that fond of, but we can't survive losing our democracy or throwing our Constitution onto the fire heap.
Excellent. Can you describe briefly how the nominating process worked at this convention and how many total delegate votes were required for Kamala Harris to secure the Democratic presidential nomination?
So we did a virtual roll call vote because there were some complications with some things that were happening in Ohio a few months ago, and it wasn't certain that our nominee was going to get on the ballot because of the timing of our convention. So we already did the virtual roll call. Last night we had the ceremonial roll call. That was just a festive, amazing party, and it was just a historic, fantastic moment to celebrate with all 27 of Idaho's delegates voting in favor of Kamala Harris.
Excellent. What do you think about the prospects of having the first woman president of the United States of America?
I think it's overdue. I think we need more leadership from women. We see women leading in all spheres. They lead within our family life, within our churches, our schools, in the boardroom. And I think it's overdue that we have a woman lead in the White House.
Excellent. What is your message to Idahoans from the floor of the Democratic National Convention?
Well, it's time to check your voter registration, make sure you're ready to vote in Idaho, and pay really close attention to your legislative races. This convention is going to get a lot of news, but we have legislative races where races are won or lost by a dozen votes, 9 votes. There was a primary in Eastern Idaho that was won by 2 votes this year. So really drill down and look at what your legislator has voted on. Do they support the Launch Scholarship bill that's giving our graduating seniors a path to a family-sustaining wage? Do they vote for the Medicaid budget that provides health care for seniors who need nursing home care, people with disabilities, kids with disabilities, low-income kids, and pregnant women? Or do they vote against Medicaid? Are they trying to undo Medicaid expansion? Are they trying to privatize our public education dollars by sending those dollars through vouchers to private and religious schools when our public schools don't have enough resources as it stands? So take a really good hard look at what your legislator is doing. And I think in most cases, you'll find that the Democrat is the choice that lines up with the values of taking care of our family and kids, and that the GOP supermajority has done a lot of harm in our state. They've gotten too extreme because they have so much power, and it's become a one-party system with no accountability.
Well, thank you, Chairwoman Necochea, for speaking with us. Enjoy the rest of the Democratic National Convention in Chicago and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you.